When we talk about crushing weak feelings, the very first step is not to run away from them, but to acknowledge them. So often, we are taught to suppress fear, to ignore doubt, or to hide insecurity as if they are shameful emotions. But the truth is, weak feelings are not here to destroy us. They are signals that something within us needs to be transformed. If you deny them, they grow stronger in the shadows. If you face them, you take away their power. Weak feelings are like uninvited guests. They may knock on your door, but it is up to you whether you allow them to stay. Fear will come, doubt will whisper. Insecurity will sit heavily on your shoulders. But when you recognize their presence, you begin to shift the control back into your own hands. Acknowledgement does not mean surrender, it means courage. It means looking fear in the eye and saying, I see you, but I am not defined by you. Think about it. Every great transformation starts with awareness. A person who is afraid to admit that they are afraid will never overcome that fear. A person who pretends they are confident while secretly drowning in self will never reach their true strength. Weak feelings are not a sign of weakness. They are a mirror showing you what still needs healing, what still needs building. If you can stand in front of that mirror without judgment, without running away, you are already on the journey of crushing those feelings. Because once you acknowledge them, they lose the ability to control your decisions in silence. Sometimes, people think that strong individuals are those who never feel fear or doubt. But strength is not the absence of weak feelings. It is the mastery over them. Even the strongest souls have nights of insecurity. But what makes them different is their refusal to let those feelings dictate the story of their life. Weak feelings may knock you down, but acknowledgement is the hand that helps you rise again. It is the pause where you whisper to yourself, yes, I am afraid. Yes, I am uncertain. But this is not the end of my journey. In that moment, you transform fear from a prison into a stepping stone. And remember, acknowledging weak feelings does not make you fragile. It makes you honest. Honesty with yourself is the foundation of real strength. You cannot build a powerful life on denial. You cannot step into your strongest self while pretending that the shadows don't exist. Only when you recognize the shadows can you begin to create light. Weak feelings are like clouds. They may cover the sky for a while, but the sun is still there, waiting to shine the moment you decide to see beyond the darkness. So the next time fear comes, don't fight to bury it. Let it surface, acknowledge it, and then remind yourself that fear is temporary, but your courage is permanent. When insecurity tells you that you are not good enough, acknowledge that voice, but also speak louder with your truth, that you are more than your doubts, more than your wounds, more than your past. Weak feelings only gain strength when you deny them. The moment you face them, you disarm them. That is the first step towards stepping into your strongest self. Every single day, life places before us a choice. The choice to surrender to weak feelings, or the choice to rise into our strength. It sounds simple, yet it is the most difficult thing, because weakness often feels easier. It feels easier to say, "I can't," than to whisper, "I will." It feels easier to remain in doubt than to believe in yourself. But the truth is, the life you live is built upon the decisions you make in those quiet moments when no one is watching. Weak feelings will always be present. They are part of being human. But what defines you is the choice you make when they try to control your actions. Will you surrender to them? Or will you stand up and choose strength? That is where transformation begins. Strength is not a gift that some people are born with and others are not. Strength is a decision. Every time you choose to keep moving despite fear, you are strengthening yourself. Every time you say no to doubt and yes to belief, you are choosing courage. And every time you refuse to let insecurity silence your voice, you are stepping deeper into your strongest self. The difference between those who live trapped by weak feelings and those who rise above them is not circumstances. It is the choices they make in the face of those feelings. Life is full of crossroads, some big and some small. A crossroad could be as simple as choosing to get out of bed when you feel weighed down by discouragement, or as powerful as deciding to pursue a dream, even when the world calls it impossible. Weak feelings whisper one direction: stay where you are. Play small. Don't try. But strength calls you in another direction. Take the step. Trust yourself. Move forward. The path of weakness might feel safe in the moment, but it always leads to regret. The path of strength feels uncertain, even frightening, but it always leads to growth. And growth is the birthplace of everything beautiful. You see, choices are not made once in a lifetime. They are made every single day, in the smallest of ways. The person you are becoming is not built in a single grand moment. It is shaped by the quiet choices you make when weak feelings try to hold you back. Do you choose to believe the voice that says you are not capable? Or do you choose to silence it with action? Do you choose to hide your pain? Or do you choose to let it fuel your purpose? That choice is the difference between a life defined by weakness and a life defined by strength. And perhaps the most powerful truth is this: choosing strength is not about never falling. You will stumble, you will break, you will cry. Choosing strength means that even in your lowest moments, you refuse to stay down. It means you decide that no matter how heavy fear feels, it will not have the final say. Strength is not a perfect, polished version of you. It is the raw, imperfect, determined version of you who chooses again and again to rise. So when weak feelings come, pause and remind yourself that you always have a choice. You can let fear build walls around you, or you can choose to break those walls and step into freedom. You can let doubt silence your voice, or you can choose to speak even if it trembles. You can let insecurity chain you to the past, or you can choose to walk forward carrying the lessons, not the weight. The choice is always yours. And when you begin to consistently choose strength over weakness, you will realize that you have always had the power to step into your strongest self. Pain and struggle are often seen as the roots of our weakest feelings. They are the moments when fear, doubt, and insecurity feel the heaviest. But if you shift your perspective, pain is not here to break you. It is here to shape you. Struggle is not a punishment, it is preparation. Weak feelings are born when we look at pain as an ending, but strength is born when we see pain as the beginning of something greater. Every scar, every wound, every heartbreak has the potential to become a chapter of resilience if you choose to redefine what those moments mean in your life. Think about it. When you are comfortable, when everything is going smoothly, you rarely grow. Growth comes when life pushes you out of the familiar and into the unknown. It comes when you are stretched, tested, and challenged. Pain is the teacher that strips away illusions and shows you how much power you truly carry. Struggle is the fire that burns away weakness and reveals the strength hidden inside. Weak feelings appear because pain makes you believe you are powerless. But when you reframe pain as a gift, those same feelings can fuel your determination instead of your despair. There will always be moments when you feel broken. Maybe it's the loss of someone you love. Maybe it's failure after giving your best. Maybe it's rejection when you opened your heart fully. Those moments sting, and it is natural for weak feelings to rise. But what matters is not the pain itself. It is the meaning you attach to it. Do you allow it to convince you that you are finished? Or do you allow it to remind you that you are being refined? The strongest people are not the ones who never experienced pain. They are the ones who refuse to let pain define them. Weak feelings are born in pain, but resilience is also born there. Every struggle carries a hidden seed of strength. It might not feel that way in the moment, but one day you will look back and realize that the very thing you thought would destroy you actually built you. Struggle forces you to dig deeper into yourself, to find courage you didn't know you had, to create a version of yourself that could not have existed without that battle. Weak feelings are like the clouds in the storm, but resilience is the rainbow that comes after. You cannot have one without the other. When you redefine pain, you stop asking, "Why me?" and you start asking, "What is this teaching me?" That shift alone takes you from weakness to strength. You begin to see that pain is not your enemy. It is your greatest trainer. Every tear is not wasted. Every wound is not meaningless. Pain is shaping you into someone who can endure, someone who can inspire, someone who can rise even when everything inside you is breaking. And that is how you crush weak feelings, by refusing to see pain as a cage and instead embracing it as a classroom. So the next time struggle comes, instead of letting it drown you in self-pity, remind yourself that this is the soil where your resilience is being planted. Instead of letting pain convince you that you are weak, remind yourself that strength is being carved out of your very bones. Weak feelings may be born in struggle, but strength is perfected there. You may bend, you may break, but you will always rise stronger than before. And when you carry that understanding, pain loses its power to weaken you. It only fuels your journey toward your strongest self. One of the most powerful steps in crushing weak feelings is learning to own your story. So many of us let fear, doubt, and insecurity write our narrative for us. We allow moments of failure, rejection, or heartbreak to become the labels that define us. When weak feelings take over, they make you believe that your story is one of defeat, that your scars are signs of weakness, that your wounds are proof of your limitations. But when you choose to own your story, you stop giving those weak feelings the pen. You take back control of how your life is written. Every single person carries scars. Some you can see, some you cannot. Scars are reminders of where you have been, but they are not chains to keep you there. Too often, people look at their scars with shame, wishing they could erase the parts of their story that hurt the most. But strength comes when you realize that scars are not something to hide. They are symbols of survival. They prove that you went through the fire and came out alive. Owning your story means standing tall, even with your scars, and saying, "This is who I am, and this is what made me stronger." The weak feelings love to whisper that your past defines you, that your failures determine your worth, that your brokenness makes you less. But when you own your story, you silence that voice. You declare that your past is not a cage, it is a classroom. You declare that your scars are not signs of defeat. They are evidence of resilience. Owning your story doesn't mean you glorify your pain. It means you refuse to let it control you. It means you take your experiences, no matter how painful, and you turn them into power. Think of the people who inspire you the most. They are not the ones who lived without struggle, without weakness, without scars. They are the ones who dare to embrace their stories fully and transform their pain into purpose. They didn't let weak feelings of shame or fear silence them. They spoke their truth. They carried their scars with dignity. And in doing so, they gave others permission to rise as well. Your story has that same power, if only you dare to own it. Owning your story is not easy. It requires courage to face the parts of yourself you wish you could erase. It requires strength to admit that, yes, you have been broken, but you are not destroyed. It requires honesty to look at your journey and accept it without denial. But once you do, weak feelings lose their grip. Fear can no longer paralyze you because you are no longer hiding. Insecurity cannot silence you because you are no longer ashamed. Doubt cannot control you because you know your story is still being written and you are the one holding the pen. So when you feel the weight of your past pressing down on you, remind yourself that you are not defined by where you have been. You are defined by how you choose to rise. Take back your narrative. Look at your scars and see strength, not shame. Speak your truth without apology. Because the moment you own your story, you step into a place where weak feelings cannot survive. You stop running from your pain and start using it as fuel. And that is when you begin to walk fully into your strongest self, carrying your story not as a burden, but as a crown. One of the greatest reasons weak feelings take control of our lives is because we give too much importance to what others think of us. We measure our worth by the applause, the validation, the approval of people around us. And the moment that approval fades, we feel insecure, doubtful, and afraid. But the truth is, no amount of recognition from others will ever be enough if you don't believe in yourself first. Self-belief is the foundation of strength, and without it, you will always remain at the mercy of weak feelings. When you constantly look outside for validation, you hand over the power of your happiness to others. You allow their opinions to decide whether you rise or whether you fall. One compliment can make you fly, and one criticism can break you. That is why weak feelings thrive in a heart that is always waiting for approval. But when you shift your focus inward, when you begin to believe in yourself even when nobody else does, weak feelings lose their grip. Because the truth is, external applause is temporary, but inner belief is permanent. Think about how many dreams have died because someone said, "You can't." How many voices have been silenced because the world didn't clap loudly enough? If your strength depends on the approval of others, you will always feel weak. But if your strength is rooted in your own belief, then no rejection, no criticism, no silence can take it away. Believing in yourself is not arrogance, it is courage. It is the courage to keep going when nobody is cheering, to keep shining when nobody notices, to keep building when nobody understands. Weak feelings often appear when you compare yourself to others. You start to feel that you are less, that you don't measure up, that you are not enough. But self-belief breaks that cycle. It reminds you that you don't need to compete with anyone. You only need to grow into the best version of yourself. And once you truly believe in that version, you stop begging for validation. You realize that your worth was never in someone else's hands. It was always within you. Owning your story, embracing your scars, and redefining pain all lead to one central truth. You must believe in yourself more than anyone else does. Because the world may doubt you. People may underestimate you. Circumstances may push you to the ground. But if you carry self-belief within you, you will rise again and again. Weak feelings will still knock on your door. But they will not be able to stay, because belief creates a strength that nothing can shake. You don't need everyone to believe in your journey. You just need yourself. You don't need 1,000 voices telling you that you can. You need your own voice, whispering it in the silence of the night. And when that inner voice grows louder than the voices of doubt around you, you step into a place of unstoppable strength. Because belief does not just change how you see yourself. It changes how you walk through the world. It changes how you face challenges, how you respond to failure, how you rise from pain. So stop chasing the applause and start building your inner faith. Stop waiting for others to validate your worth and start declaring it yourself. Weak feelings lose their power the moment you realize you don't need anyone's permission to be strong, to be worthy, to be enough. The applause of the world may come and go, but the belief you carry within you will remain. And that belief, unshakable and unwavering, is what allows you to crush weak feelings and step fully into your strongest self. Stepping into your strongest self is not about becoming someone flawless or untouchable. It is about becoming someone who chooses courage over fear, hope over despair, and dignity over insecurity. Weak feelings may never fully disappear, but when you rise into your strongest self, they lose their authority over you. You begin to live with a different energy, a different presence, one that is not shaken by circumstances or broken by opinions. Your strongest self is not the version of you that has never been hurt. It is the version that has been hurt, yet refuses to stay broken. When you step into your strongest self, you stop letting fear dictate your choices. You stop holding back your voice because of insecurity. You stop waiting for perfect conditions to move forward. Instead, you act. You speak, you live boldly, even when weakness tries to pull you back. The strongest version of you knows that strength is not the absence of weak feelings, but the ability to stand tall despite them. It is walking with trembling legs, but refusing to stop. It is speaking with a shaking voice, but refusing to be silent. It is daring to dream when the world calls you foolish. Strength is also about living with hope. Weak feelings often come when life looks dark and uncertain. But when you carry hope within you, you carry light into that darkness. Your strongest self does not deny challenges. It faces them with faith that even the hardest season will not last forever. Hope is not about ignoring reality. It is about believing in a brighter one. It is about telling yourself that every storm eventually runs out of rain, and every night eventually gives way to dawn. Hope transforms weakness into resilience, and resilience transforms ordinary people into extraordinary leaders. Stepping into your strongest self also means living with self-respect. Weak feelings thrive when you settle for less, when you allow yourself to be treated as if you are not worthy. But strength comes when you recognize your value and refuse to compromise it. Your strongest self does not beg for validation. It does not shrink to make others comfortable. It does not apologize for existing. It walks with quiet confidence, not arrogance, because it understands that worth is not borrowed from others. It is inherent. When you live with self-respect, you set boundaries, you honor your truth, and you carry yourself in a way that weak feelings cannot touch. And the most beautiful part of stepping into your strongest self is that it never remains just about you. Strength has a ripple effect. When you crush weak feelings and rise with courage, you inspire others to do the same. Your journey becomes a light for someone else's darkness. Your resilience becomes proof that they too can endure. Your hope becomes the spark that ignites their own. That is why living in your strongest self is so powerful. It is not just transformation for your life, but transformation for everyone who crosses your path. So as you continue on this journey, remind yourself that weak feelings may visit you, but they are not your home. Fear may whisper, but it is not your truth. Insecurity may weigh you down, but it is not your identity. Your strongest self is already within you, waiting for you to choose it, waiting for you to rise, waiting for you to live with the courage, hope, and respect that you deserve. And when you finally step into that space, weak feelings will no longer hold the pen to your story. You will walk with strength, live with purpose, and shine with a light that no darkness can overcome.